Both tees as you're looking live at one of the leaders, Sue O, off the tee here, the par 3 15th, 164 yards today as we say good afternoon to Jerry Foltz with this group.
And a very nice afternoon it is indeed. 6 iron for Sue, trying to keep it low into a breeze that's also from the left, and that is going to struggle to catch the right.
Dan Hicks here with major champion Karen Stupples and our Gary Koch here in the 18th tower. As we shift over to Michelle Wie at the 10th, just 104 yards left. You can see Michelle, who's been playing some good golf lately, at +1 in the early going.
She does, and she's been really playing well with that fade. And she's able to get confidence knowing that she's taken the left side of the course out of the equation.
All right, so Michelle Wie trying to get it back to even par. There's GA Shin Suo, Lee Lopez at 3 under par, followed by a group of players at 2 under. Brittany Lincecum, plenty of power to negotiate this Olympia Fields layout at 1 under, just 2 back. It'll be interesting to see what the final number is on Sunday. Perhaps some weather moving. Henderson at even par. This is Lopez over at the 5th, a long birdie look for the outright lead. Has not won on tour thus far, so maybe this is going to be a big week for her. And over to 17 for Letitia Beck. This was just a moment ago.
Well, Dan, this par 3, 208 yards, playing dead into the breeze. So a 3 here is a good score today.
And Beck tracks it in. Yep, this is one of the many really nice par 3s here at Olympia Fields. As we go over to the 4th, pick up Brittany Altamara for a long birdie look to tie. She was at one point not too long ago at 3 under, a part of the tie for the lead, so trying to get back in there. And does so. Brittany Altamara joins the group at 3 under par. GA Shin there, the most decorated of the players there. They're currently leading the early going of this KPMG Women's PGA Championship. As I mentioned, with Karen Stupples and Gary Koch. Karen, let's talk about this exciting time in women's golf. We mentioned the field here. Everyone is here virtually in the top 100 rankings. What kind of atmosphere surrounds the LPGA Tour right now?
It's amazing when you think about the top players in the world right now are all on top of their games. They've got wins and they're playing great golf. And when you come here to this venue, which is really tremendous for these players, and they're all excited to be here, they know that they have to produce their best stuff if they want to lift that trophy at the end of this week. You've got Brooke Henderson coming off a win, Lexi Thompson, who has already won this year, and she's had a number of losses in playoffs. You've got other Americans. Brittany Lincecum has been playing well also. And when you look at that leaderboard, they're not up there yet, but I fully expect them to be so by the end of the week. And I really think that this golf course is going to test them to the fullest.
Yeah, we're going to see, Sonia, you're the new #1 in just a bit, teeing off along with Lexi Thompson. But as for the course, Gary, last time we were here 13 years ago when Jim Furyk won the U.S. Open, but it's changed a bit.
Yeah, it certainly has, Dan. A couple of years ago, the course underwent a renovation. Mainly it was the bunkers. They kind of changed the shape and certainly the color of the sand. Now the white sand just really pops, but this is still very much an old-style golf course. It just sits very naturally on the land, and a lot of the holes, tee shots play downhill, approach shots play back uphill to the green. Greens are relatively small, and a lot of them slope from back to front, and a lot of them severely back to front. So to play this course well, first of all, you have to drive the ball in the fairway, and secondly, you better control your approach shots to these greens and try to leave the ball below the hole as much as possible.
Yeah, there's a nice mix of long and short holes, which we'll get into as the championship goes on. The rest of our crew includes Tom Abbott. You've heard him on virtually all of the LPGA championships and events contested here on Golf Channel. Mark Rolfing, Kay Cockrell, and Jerry Foltz on the ground, and Steve Sands handling the interviews for us this week. As we check in at 14, and Lizette Salas trying to get it back to even par.
Doesn't hit the ball a tremendous distance. So keeping short of those fairway bunkers, Gary, that you talked about, is going to be a little bit of an advantage for her.
So Salas gets within 3 as we go over to the 10th, and this is a par attempt for Stacy Lewis, and with Stacy and company is Mark Rolfing. Good afternoon, Rolf.
Afternoon, Dan. Stacy Lewis with an unexpected putt for a par. Hit a good drive, but then dumped her second shot into the greenside bunker short. This one now from about 6 feet down the hill.
Yeah, these are the tough putts. These are the ones that down the hill you have to be very cautious with because of the speed, and oftentimes you'll miss them low.
And another tough start here for Stacey Lewis, who's really played pretty well, Karen, but just has not been able to punch through to the winner's circle.
No, and I saw an interesting stat the other day, is that her scoring average this year is actually lower than when she won the Vare Trophy. And so she says that the competition is just getting better out here on the tour.
Lafia Kristen's daughter over at the 7th for birdie. Having a good start at 1 under. In that group with Annie Park and Wendy Doolin, and just rolling on the front edge of the cup. So Lafia Kristen's daughter with a good start. And back over to the par 3 15th. This is Sue O, part of the lead, trying to break out of it and have it on her own, Jerry.
Yes, and so fortunate to be just on the fringe. It's so much easier around these greens when you can get the putter in your hand. This one will be a little downhill early, but into the breeze and turning left.
Sue O, just 21 years old, born in South Korea, but moved to Australia at an early age, 8, and still looking to win for the first time. It is a stellar field. As we mentioned, 24 of the top 25 of the Rolex Women's World Golf Rankings, 27 major champions and all 9 past champions in this 63rd edition of the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. 14 of 15 winners on the LPGA Tour season. So all of them assembled here as we check in with the defending champion at 11 and Kay Cockrell.
And coming into this 11th green with a 9-iron, hit a good drive. And obviously that was not quite the shot she was looking for.
You can see the breezes. They are formidable. That one right into Brooks' face. As we check in again with Michelle Wie over at the 10th. Mark?
4.5 feet or so, not the easiest putt to read. It looks to me like it might want to fall a little right. She played this hole extremely aggressive, though. Hit a drive of 310 yards.
And Karen, an area of her game that has improved dramatically this season over last.
It is. Those putts per green in regulation stat have improved, I mean, immensely. It's
no longer the tabletop, but you will see, won't we, Karen, a variety of grips on the putter blade.
She does. She'll have about 3 of them that she'll use, and we'll see all of them in play. It's about a feel thing for her.
Yeah, and she has been playing well. So is this Michelle Wie's week to break back in to the major championship winner's circle? The KPMG Women's PGA Championship, currently a 4-way tie for the lead at 3 under. And you can follow LPGA.com for live scoring.
Goes on the tee here, a very difficult par 4, got to avoid the bunkers.
Easier said than, I'm sorry, Gary, easier said than done, because they really pinch it on almost every hole.
Yeah, Jerry, I think the fairway, what, about 18, 19 yards wide between the 2 farthest bunkers.
And effectively, because it pinches in so much, it looks like you have to walk single file. And to compound things, it's into the breeze from the left, the most uncomfortable wind for a right-handed player. This one turning over up the left side.
And it is going to not find the bunker. That might be okay. You can see quite a lot of the ball. She's missed 5 fairways already today, Sue O. So go to 11.
And a long look for birdie for the defending champ, with her sister on the bag once again.
She says that that's a really nice relationship. She's always got somebody with her that is a friend, a sister, and it's just nice to have that as a travel companion, especially when you're that young.
Over at the 14th, Brittany Lincecum second from just off the fairway. Rough here, Gary, not huge factor.
Down 2.5 inches, bluegrass, and you know, you can get some lies where you can play shots, and I think Brittany Lincecum just had one of those lies. Good angle too. She had
For Lee Lopez, as you can see, tied for the lead at the moment.
It's unusual territory for her. She has only had 1 top 10 in her LPGA career, and this year she's played 13 events. She's missed 6 cuts, and her best finish is a tie for 36th.
Her second and third best finishes of her career have come at the US Women's Open. She finished 17th last year, and she finished 20th 2 years ago at the US Women's Open. Made a hole-in-one in each of those championships. The first player to go back-to-back with holes-in-one at the US Open. This is actually her 3rd shot on this par 5. And that's safe. It's not an easy hole today. Into the wind, as you can see from the flag there.
Well, the ladies excited to play here for the first time, Tom. Olympia Fields Country Club, and as Gary talked about at the top, it is a different look. Architect back in the early 20s, Willie Park. Brian Morrison, the resident PGA director of golf here at Olympia Fields Country Club. And the Arizona grad and company doing a great job this week.
Yeah, it really does, Dan, and I think a lot of it is the white sand.
Hall of Famers Laura Davies in the early going +6, got off to a rough start on that opening 9 out in 43, but always good to see Laura.
Is so competitive still to these days, doesn't want to let anything slip by her.
Over at the 17th, this is Chung for birdie at this long par 3.
Well, importantly, below the hole, so putting uphill, a little right to left break. And, man, we've already seen a couple of 2s here, which I didn't expect us to see many at all
Of course,
today.
it's just in spectacular shape. The fairways like carpets and the greens rolling.
Sue O, the 21-year-old from Australia, with a second here, Jerry.
Using a 7-iron, 158 yards, slightly uphill and into a strong breeze. The lie isn't bad, but it's not great. Sitting well down in some strong-looking grass. But it is lying down green, which helps.
Only 3 birdies here so far today.
That's going to chase on for a while once it lands.
And it just needs to sit down now. And the outside chance of chipping it in for a birdie here. And we'll go to the front 9 to the 5th.
And we've got a par attempt here for Uribe to stay at even par. Be a lot of those this week, Karen, that matter. Let's check back in with Laura Davies, see if she can roll this one in.
And I think she'd be the first to confess that this is the part of her game that potentially has let her down over the years. And certainly as she's progressed older in life.
Seems to be an awful lot of movement when she putts. A lot of things moving. Head moving, body moving. Most good putters are a lot steadier.
Brittany Altamare back at the 5th, looking to stay at 3 under, does indeed. Stay in that 4-way tie at the top. And up to 11 for Michelle Wee, second from just on the first cut.
Well, another huge drive, Karen. Just 107 yards left. Good angle, hole location on the right. Ooh, big mistake. That's up above the hole. That'll be a quick one down the hill with a lot of left to right break. So trying to hold the club off, make sure that everything moves from left to right, so you have to clear the hips very quickly. And wow, look at that, how holding that club face open for a long, long time.
And she really rehearses that move too.
Now the European Tour continues at Le Golf National in Paris. Future site of
Birdie effort here to take the outright lead, though. And pretty good pace early on from Lee Lopez. As Karen mentioned, she's not really used to being at the top of leaderboards. Finished tied for 58th in this event last year. As we go back to the par 3.
another one of these beautiful par 3s, the 15th, 164 yards today, and time for Top Tracer technology to trace Brittany Lincecum's tee shot here at 2 under, 1 back.
Well, Karen, I'm going to bet it moves right to left.
I think that I'm not going to bet against you on that.
Yeah, and virtually every shot that Brittany hits moves in that direction.
But Kara, this is a course where you got to kind of shape it around here a little bit, right?
You do. There are a lot of tee shots that actually move from left to right, and for a player like Brittany, she cannot take her driver out and get it on those fairways. She's going to have to lay back on those bunkers to keep it straight.
Paula Creamer is next. What's the latest on Paula's game, Karen?
It's an interesting thing with Paula. She showed signs of some really good golf back in Atlantic City. She had a great chance to win. She played in the final group. Just got a bit caught off guard with distance control with her wedges, but everything looked really good and solid. She was making some good putts, and that's huge for Paula. She's been working hard with her coach, Gary Gilchrist. And I think for Paula, the biggest thing is remaining patient. This one's...
Sit.
Paula finds the bunker. By the way, GA Shin just bogeyed the 12th, missed a short par putt to fall back to 2 under out of that now 3-way tie for the lead as we look in again with Michelle Wie. Mark?
And a big mistake, as Gary said, on her second. Gary, this is the toughest combination of elements. I think it's downhill but dead into the wind, and you don't want to leave this one short.
Mark, we had a good look at her practice stroke there. She was using a left-hand low grip, and it looks like that's what she's going to stick with once she's over the ball.
She's actually done it a few holes in a row, so must be feeling pretty good about it.
And that's a pretty good putt. Good speed.
Up to 12.
And the recent graduate from UCLA, Alison Lee, graduated a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, she skipped the Meyer Classic to attend graduation, got her degree in communications. She just watched Ariya Jutanugarn absolutely fly this green with a 9-iron. Alison is not as long as Ariya. She's going with an 8-iron.
One of 5 players on the course bogey-free so far today.
The wind really whipping.
That's really
so
good,
tough
Kate.
to judge.
That is really good from Alison Lee, and a great look at birdie.
Well, a couple of Bruin grads in that group, including, of course, Allison. There's what she posted on social media. Cheers to somehow managing to make it to class, showing up for my tea time, and 4 years of not sleeping. So congratulations to Allison Lee out of UCLA and trying to make another career for herself out here on the LPGA Tour, along with the youngster Henderson.
Now playing alongside 2 players that did not go to college. Both Ariya and Brooke turning pro at a very young age in their teens. Brooke from the right-hand side of this fairway with a wedge. 132 yards to the hole, and it plays uphill, but now the wind seems to be swirling around, coming more from the right.
Trying to bring it in on the wind, and she's done very well there. So 2 good shots.
So Brooke Henderson trying to stay in the mix here and successfully defend her title. Second youngest major winner ever in the ladies' world of golf last year when she beat Lydia Ko. As we check in at the 15th, Brittany Lincecum, who came up short with her tee shot to this par 3.
Importantly, playing uphill now, so a chance to be aggressive, get the ball up within range to make a par.
Try to stay at 2 under, within 1, and back to 7 for Lee Lopez on the tee, part of that group of 3 tied for the lead.
This tee shot dramatically downhill, Karen. Tough to judge, playing back into the wind to a very small green.
And really sheltered back there by those trees, so very difficult to judge that wind, as you were saying.
And back to 12, Tom.
Brooke Henderson has a great look at birdie.
She does. She does. That was just a brilliant shot she hit in. It's been so exacerbating for the players just to get a feel for which wind, how the wind is blowing, and be confident with the club that they pick. This is going to be a very fast putt as it's downhill and down breeze.
It's her 3rd birdie of the day, but to get into red figures, couple of bogeys already. No, just drifted away.
Well, Tom, what a show Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko put on last year as 18-year-old and 19-year-olds, respectively. Ko entered the final row far. Born in Smiths Falls, Ontario, making her way here in the United States, Tom.
Now Alison Lee to tie the lead. No, so both players missed really good opportunities. Not going to get too many great opportunities like that on a golf course like Olympia Fields. Got to take advantage. And we'll go to the 16th where Nelly Corder has had to get a ruling here away from the hospitality. And Nelly.
That was an early twirl of the club, Tom, like she knew she hit it great.
Wow, and you're as good as Nelly at such a young age. I guess you got the confidence to just go ahead and knock it in.
Whoa, Nelly.
Yeah, I have a feeling this ball, Tom, would have ended up a good 15 or 20 feet past the hole.
She knew it was going to hit the flag, though, I guess, twirling the club. And Nelly, in her rookie season, younger sister of Jessica Corder. And that's a moment to remember.
And over at 15, see if Brittany Lincecum can remain one back.
Oh, just runs out of speed.
So paying the price for the short tee shot and up to 16.
Now Sue O trying to knock one in from off the green at 16 as well. It just bounced a little bit coming through the fringe grass there. Still good 4 at 16. Nelly Quarters was certainly a big bonus. But Sue O, very talented player. Talking to Mike Clayton last year, who played European Tour golf, was a good pro in his day, and he said you've got to watch out for Sue O in the next couple of years. A lot of talent. Grew up playing with Lydia Ko. Ko has developed and played a lot better as a youngster, out to 15.
And Creamer for par. Beautiful stroke there.
Really part of a game that she feels like she's going back to what she was doing when she won the US Open. She's changed her grip to more conventional as opposed to being left-hand low.
Back out to 6.
And Brittany Altomare to take the outright lead. University of Virginia graduate. A program that isn't too old, only about 15 years of women's golf at UVA. And Altomare flying the flag for the Cavaliers at the moment. And we'll go ahead to the 7th.
And the second from the greenside bunker at the par 3 for Lopez.
Yeah, very straightforward bunker shot there, playing uphill to the hole.
Again, Lee Lopez finishing up here on the front 9 on the North Course at Olympia Fields, having teed off in her group of 3 at 10 and looking to stay at 3 under. Top par.
And that's going to be one of the keys, I think, Karen, this week, is making those par putts, because you're going to end up with 5, 6, 7 foot putts for pars, and it's like any major championship. To do well, you're going to have to make it. Here's another one right here, Tom.
Yeah, this for Altomare to stay at 3 under. And this time it goes in for Brittany. And now 2 players at the top of the leaderboard. And we'll go to the 17th.
And Sue O on this formidable par 3, Jerry.
This is a big hole right here. 208, slightly uphill, into that breeze from the left, back hole location. This is a 5-wood, and I'm sure she's going to try and keep it low. She did indeed. It's a bullet at the left edge.
And it careens into that bunker and stayed in there, I believe. Back to 12.
And Michelle Wee with her second shot. As you can see, the green sits high above the fairway. And the one-handed finish. We see the one-handed finish quite a lot from Eri Jutanagan, and it has no influence on the shot, seemingly. That one the same, Karen.
And you can see how quickly she sets it on the way back. She's trying to get the club into a position at the top for this to come from the outside, and she's going to try and hold on. But first, she's going to drive quickly with her hips down through, sending the club on an outside path through impact. But look how much she holds onto that club face through the ball. I know she caught more turf than she wanted to with that, but the idea and the principle is the same. She's trying to get the ball flight to move from left to right.
Right hand releasing under instead of over the left. Yeah.
Altomare's turn now at the 7th. 1 of 2, along with Sue O at 3 under at the top.
Well, not the longest of hitters, but does hit the ball relatively straight. Her instructor, Justin Sheehan, is here this week. They've spent quite a bit of time on the range and the short game area, and apparently it's playing off.
His student safely on the green at the top, along with Sue O in the early going here.
An easy second shot from down in this low area. So semi-blind, can just see the top of the flagstick.
Wow.
Whoa.
Beautiful little carom off the right collar there, and she went on to make birdie. So Chella Choi is at 2 under, and Mo Martin, major champion in her own right, playing with Chella, had this for par to remain at +2. So some good vibes going over for that group. At the 17th, Suo from the bunker. Jerry?
Pretty straightforward shot, maybe a little bit of a downhill lie, plenty of green with which to work. She's a capable bunker player. 60th on the LPGA this season, and nicely done there.
That'll be a nice save for Suo to stay at 3 under. Tied with Altamara. And back to 12.
Michelle Wee with a birdie putt here, Mark.
Well, it's been an interesting hour or so for me, Tom. And Karen, you can chime in here. I've never seen Michelle Wee play this kind of golf, this sort of controlled fade golf. I've been watching her since she was 9, and this is a totally new plan for me to see her play like this.
I agree with you. I really feel like she's doing it to give herself something to hang her hat on, so that she knows that when she stands over every shot, she has a plan for it. And I think that really fits in with her very analytical mind.
Oh, there's a different putting grip, I
went
believe.
to the claw grip.
Yeah, so that's 2 that we've seen so far. That one works. Might want to stay with it, Tom.
Well, if you look at her results over the last 5 starts, she's had a 4th, a 3rd, a 2nd, and a 4th. And she did miss the cut at the Volvic Championship, but take that out of the equation, and she is playing very, very well. Within that run, she's had 2 65s and 2 rounds of 64. So whatever she's doing, it's working. And she is switching that putting grip. She did some work with Ledbetter during the Honda Classic. She went down and took him away from his clients on the PGA Tour to work on her putting grip, and she seemed to have got something right, Gary.
Yeah, it was interesting. I talked to David Ledbetter on Tuesday, and I said, what's with these different grips? And he goes, well, I call it the whatever method, because, you know, it's Michelle gets over the ball. She starts with one grip, and if it doesn't feel right, she changes. And we just saw her on 11 putt, you know, left hand low, and then here with a claw. So who knows?
A term we've heard a lot from her generation. Whatever. 13 is Henderson. Trying to get it back there at that right back stick. And Brooke Henderson chiming in on Twitter. What a great group in her Pro-Am. She had Bo Jackson, Greg Maddux, the great Major League pitcher, and KPMG's John Viemeyer, who will be retiring at the end of this September.
And they won the Pro-Am, Dan. They won everything, though.
And Tom, you guys should have tied them, correct?
Well, I don't want to get into it, but
Well,
there was
I
a
think
bit
you
of a
set it up, though, Tom.
scorecard
I think you pretty much
discrepancy.
kind of
There was a bit of a
teed us up.
scorecard discrepancy.
Be more on that later on golfchannel.com or somewhere.
Not that he's bitter or anything.
No.
No.
This is Altomare at 7. By the way, Tom Abbott probably leading the announce crew here in Pro-Ams contested here the last few years or so. If there's a Pro-Am, Tom, well, he'll see you there.
Just trying to get into the Pro-Am Hall of Fame, Dan. I'm not too far away.
So Altomare sticking at 3 under. And from the amateur leaderboard, we've got, excuse me, not the amateur leaderboard, but we've got Palauzi here for par. A club professional leaderboard that she is a part of. As we take a look at that, currently led by Allison Kurt, but there's Karen in there at +9, along with some other +9s.
Wendy Doolan was a winner on the LPGA Tour a number of years ago.
And back to Brooke Henderson.
I'm trying to, again, to get it into red numbers. Got a good read off of Ariadne Tanakarn's putt previous.
Yeah, this one moved pretty hard to the left at the end.
And she learned well, didn't she?
So a long one drops for the defending champ. Looking for a second win of the season. And this is Suo for par over at 17. And sticks right there at the top with Altomare. So a long one made by Brooke Henderson. Michelle Wee's putter has come alive again, has been consistent, even with all those grips that she is using. Michelle at 1 under, just 2 back in the KPMG Women's PGA Championship.
I love getting more for less. That's why this control enthusiast.
At the finishing hole here at Olympia Fields Country Club, it's a par 5. Suo, the co-leader
Playing back into a right-to-left breeze today, Karen, so I'm assuming it'll take two pretty good ones for her to reach.
Suho has enough power to do it, though.
Yeah.
Especially now she's on the fairway with a good angle.
Well, coming up on the green at 18, this is a phrase we used to hear a lot, woods for eagle. This is Cheyenne Woods for eagle at this par 5, so reaching in 2 with her power.
Putting in some really low rounds, and she has done so, but the consistency just isn't quite there with her game.
Yep, that is a name that will follow you around out here on the golf circuit for sure. Cheyenne has had her moments, but a first round 78 has put her well back after Thursday's play. Out of the 8th, this is Lee Lopez from just off the green, her 3rd shot to this par 5, par 4 I should say.
And this is pretty straightforward. This is the one green on the golf course that actually runs from front to back. Sits right up on top of a ridge line. And anything from the front of the green will funnel to the back right portion.
Shift over to 14, and Chella Choi's second with that orange ball.
Has been a really consistent player on the LPGA Tour for a number of years.
And this is a hole you have to take advantage of, Karen. If you put the ball in the fairway, you're going to have